Real Talk. This is part of what we hear. Welcome to Real Talk. It's me, P. Rilla, where real people, real ones speak real truths. Today we're peeling back the layers on something that's been coded into with so many of us: masculinity. What does it mean to be a man? Who gets to define that? And is it strength, silence, or something deeper than that? I don't know. We're going to ask the men out there what's going on. So look, let's talk about the weight of being told to man up, the silence, the pride, the pressure, and most importantly, how we start unlearning some of the toxic programming and find a new definition that actually fits. So, boom. There you go. All right, community, I'm back. And as you see, I'm sitting here with another individual over here. Pretty powerful man though, you know, upcoming guy. He's gonna be doing his thing. Author, screenwriter, as you already know, that's coming up when it comes out. Clear Look Entertainment. I mean, I can keep on going about more and more and more and more and more. And really, I ain't even gonna hold you. I just met the brother like a couple months ago. And bro, you want the toilet fix? He got you. You want a pillow talk with your shorty doo-wop? He got you. He got it to where you read stories to your lady, to your kids, and it all relates, especially to your little homies and everything. So, without further ado, I want to introduce Bree from here. You know what I'm saying? Actually, got a podcast too, also.
Yes.
Co-host. Let me tell me about that, John.
It's co-host with Ab and Bree. That's my other co-host, and you know we just trying to do some things, and I'm very glad to be here with you.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me.
Man, you know what? This when I thought about doing this topic or whatever, it was like nobody else would come into mind.
Okay.
Because like people I ain't around, it's like they really ain't. They not really conscious though. But I'm seeing them. You got a couple projects. Talk a little bit about you. You got a couple projects coming up or whatever, right?
Clear Look Entertainment. You know we shooting a full-length movie called In the Middle. Got a couple projects coming out off of Clear Look Entertainment. We got a book of short stories that's going to come out. It's a little more delicate the way we're going to put it out. It's not your normal conventional way, but we're going to do it something really big. We got a full-length movie coming out called In the Middle. Not quite poor.
I'm in the middle now.
Not quite poor, struggling to be rich. We have a mini-series that's coming that's called Game Type. Stay tuned for that one. This is going to be a wild one. It's a comedy. And you know, pretty much that. And we got a bunch of skits and shorts that we're going to do for local actors that's coming up too, that want to do bios and all that. So we just working. We working. That's my motto. We working.
What it seemed like to me, he said, hey, youngins out there in Philly that's ready to get into the business, we help your resume. That's how they go.
Yeah, we're going to be doing the internship.
That's how that sounded. Yes, that's how that sounded.
We're going to be doing the internship too.
So, you know, let's be real though. Like, when it comes to say like what's to be a man, most of us wasn't given like the talk by their dads or anything like that. Because I mean, a lot of us wasn't around our pops. Some was, some wasn't. Like, you know, I was raised around my step pop. But who's to say that it was, you know, other reasons behind that? But he didn't. He also didn't have that sit down and talk with me or anything like that. Like, it was just always small statements, caveats, anything like, you know, men don't cry, you know, all that type of stuff. So it's like, how do we learn to be men? Because we're not picking. So we're picking it up from everywhere. We're picking it up from watching dads, watching uncles, watching dudes on the streets, watching TV, watching all that. So I want to ask Bree, like, where did you realize, or who taught you how to like become like a man? Like if someone never gave down a talk.
It's kind of a tricky answer if you go with it, because you never really got one answer.
Yeah.
It's not drawing the sand. First of all, our parents, fathers, mothers, or any people that they didn't have the rules. They didn't have a script. So how can somebody that don't have a script teach you how to be a man? That's one thing. The second thing, it's their interpretation of what a man is. With like you dealing with somebody. Me, personally, my pop was around for a little while, but other men that was in my family taught me, people from the older people in the streets. And I'm a little older, so I knew the people from up the block.
Yeah.
You know, and but as I came into my own, I learned a lot of things that they were saying wasn't right, and I had to figure some things out on my own. I learned a lot of things from, believe it or not, how to be a man. I learned it from a lot of the women in our family, because some of the women, the older women, knew what it was to be a man. If that makes sense to you.
I was about to say, was it they knew to be a man, or was they giving you they biased thought?
No, not that. It's like, all right, take my grandmama or the big mama in your family.
Yeah.
They've been around the older men in their family. So the man that come home, he took care of this, he did that, he did this, that, and that was the idea of a man. So when we got to the later years, when we started doing our thing, we tried to emulate certain stuff, but we didn't get it, and sometimes we might have got it wrong. So we knew how to be physical men, as far as this, that, and other. I gotta protect, and or even I gotta provide.
Ah, that's the one right there.
So you get what I'm saying. So like the protection part, it comes natural because it's like instinct. Like if you got a kid, you know to protect your kid.
Right.
If you got a woman, you know to protect your woman.
Right.
You got a household, you know how to protect your household.
Right.
That's like instinct. Even the scariest dude can do that to a certain extent. I'm not saying he can do it all the way.
I'm gonna have to say cap on that. I was saying right the whole time. No, I'm just messing with you. I'm gonna say cap.
But you get what
I
I'm
get what you
saying.
said.
Like
absolutely.
So the protection part and being that part is good. Sometimes what's subjective is learning how to provide.
It's more. It's one more. It's one more. It's one more.
And the emotional content.
The emotional content. That's the one that's a problem that got us with the weight on our shoulders, though.
No, why is the weight? I want you to explain to me. Like I want to tell you what the weight is on my shoulders. So you tell. And again.
Well, all of it is the weight, but the emotional part is really the portion that we taught. Like men supposed to walk around with like A status, gorilla look, and all that. Yeah. Men, you can't cry. You can't show your emotions, because you show your emotions. This is growing up. Well, who told me that? All right, I'm going to break this down for me. Because you broke it down for you, right? So I'm going to break it down for me. Man, Bill Cosby showed me what's up at the end of the day. No, I'm just playing. No, but really, I'm not playing at the end of the day. I'm not playing. Because I never had a man to sit down and give me that conversation at all.
What did you need?
I don't know. Because I was a kid.
Right, but what I'm saying to you is, you went to school.
Mm-hmm.
You was in school with your classmates and this, that, and other.
Right.
You learned some things from the street. So even though you didn't have that conversation, you learned a lot of things on the way.
Mm. And that's where it came from me, because I was sitting in front of the TV watching the Cosby Show, and I knew how to treat your children.
Right.
I figured out how to treat the children, because it's like, okay, a provider. We can do the providing, that's easy to understand. The strength is easy to understand, but where we all have a problem with is being able to express an emotion, because of a certain emotion they say is weakness.
I'm going to ask you one question real fast. The question I'm going to ask you is, you said you was around your mother and your sisters, not right?
Yeah, I hung out with all the girls.
Right, but no, listen. So you learned love then.
Yeah.
So you learned the emotion then, because if something happened to one of your siblings or your mother, you felt some type of way, correct?
Correct.
All right, and so you would learn the emotion without somebody even telling you. That's why I said a lot of the game I learned from the women in my family. The emotional side of it, of being the softer side of who I was going to be, came from the women. It didn't come from the men. The men showed me how to this, that, no, do this and do that. But the emotional part that you was talking about, the sensitive part, you learned that from your mother.
But the idea of being a 7-year-old kid saying, you're the man of the house now.
But you was the man of the house. You are the man. If you're the only man in the house, you're the man in the house.
But is that like a 7-year-old? Is that not like pressure on him? Like but at that time he would feel as what it builds characters later on in life. You can think back, right?
But answer this one question for me. You was a 7-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
You had sisters, correct? You had sisters or
women?
You had women in your household.
No, just
my
mama.
All right, just your mama. Well, just say you had a cousin that was a girl.
Yeah.
When y'all was close.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If something happened to her, did you not try to defend her? Even when you was younger. That was instinct, wasn't it?
Facts.
Exactly.
Right.
Now you get what I'm saying.
You're basically break this segment down and everything. Yo, that was a little tough right there. But to break this segment down, we're basically saying like, hey, it's embedded in us to have strength. Yes, we get that. It's embedded in men to be providers. But don't be afraid to show your emotional status because, of course, you have different types of emotional status. Nigga, you want to cry? Go cry, man. Like, but it's not weak to do that because we're going to get more into it on the next segment.
Okay.
So that's what we're breaking it down to because now we want to sit there and talk about, are you man enough? So, be back to you soon. Now, let's talk about how masculinity shows up around us. At schools, in relationships, in the streets. When you're told to hide your feelings, you start replacing them with anger or numbness or bravado. But that's how we do. So there's this fear of being labeled soft. So boys stop crying, they stop talking, and it turns into pain, ego, isolation, and culturally it hits differently. Like really it does. Like different cultures. Like in the black households, it's survival. Be strong. Because the world's already against you, right? In a Latino household, it might be, you need the machismo and stuff like that. Power and pride. In Asian households, go. No, that was wrong. But maybe it's about the control and emotional restraint. Because that does goes in the Asian households. But the outcome is, still, it brings that kid into silence. So, what is your take on that type of, like, situation on that? Because it is a different type of masculinity in these different cultural households, and we deal with the stigma of being not wanting to be labeled soft and all that.
But what's the real definition of being soft?
Societal or the real? Because this is a societal situation we talking. Because societal actually, your society makes it this.
No, but what I'm asking you is, who definition of saying it's soft? Now, a person can go to work every day, don't get in no trouble, don't have no contact with the police, don't do this, that, and do everything straight forth from that. That some other person might call him soft.
Right, in their society. Yeah.
Right, but is that systematic, or is it just friend to friend, people to people, or generation or culture to culture?
Culture to culture, social norms, different social norms.
Right. So just the way that the excuse my language, the Caucasians or the Asians act, is that different from the way the Afro Americans act?
Yeah, they are different from each other.
Right. So their definition of soft might not be
our definition of soft. Okay. Yeah, I'm saying that's why I say it's based on your societal norm or your culture.
So I'm saying, is that systematic? Is it placed on us for us to be that way? All right. Why I'm saying that is going to. All right. We African Americans, or as they want to call us.
And we do have that chip on our shoulder. So like the world is already against us.
Let me go a little deeper.
Okay.
Why I'm saying it that way is because if
15 minutes. Cut that part out.
so if the African Americans live in this part of the city, they think they have social status here, and then the African Americans that live in this part of the city think they have social status here. What's the difference? Is it money, or is it just the attitude? Is that no? Because I left here and I lived here. I don't mean up here, but just here. I'm
I get it.
like,
Because I was same thing.
Yeah, I ain't go all the way here, but I'm like here. So do you? I'm gonna ask you this question straight, point blank. Do you think you're better than some people?
Now this is based on masculinity, so just me.
Just the whole round. Do you think you're better than certain people?
Damn right.
Okay, now this comes to that. Now is that masculinity, or that's just your personal opinion, or that fact?
Now that would be someone from a different neighborhood would say that's the fact, right? Then someone from the neighborhood over there would say that's just me being a man. Somebody over here say, well, that's just how I feel. Like, it's once again that goes breaking down to your societal, the way your society carries you.
Yeah, but I'm saying your thing, like me personally, I don't care what society think I am.
Right.
I'm who I am.
Right.
So, like when we get in certain situations, we can act crazy. We can cry about it. We can complain about it, or we can do something about it. So, that's the masculinity of the situation. Because how you handle the situation, you either going to change it or you're going to stay with it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So me saying that, I mean, they going to be doing what they doing over here. We're going to be doing over here. I don't like niggas. So I'm just telling you that. I don't like them. So,
I don't either.
So, and when I say it that way, that could be black, Chinese, white, or Russian or whoever. But if you're that and you're in an ignorant state, I'm not there no more. You got to the age you are because you went through your trials and tribulations to get to where you at. So you don't think the same way you think when you was 20.
No.
So that's a masculinity because you got to this point to be this way. You thought different when you was younger. When you got older, you thought different. So as we're going, we're still learning from the cradle to the grave. So you learn something different right now. Like you ever heard somebody tell you, an older person said, "I've been your age, you ain't never been my age."
I say it all the time.
Right. So why can you say that?
Because it's the facts.
But why is it the facts?
Because it's really like you have not reached that point. Or have not. I say that because there's things that you have not seen.
Right.
That I know that I've seen.
Right.
But as a man, there's some maturity levels that you have not reached.
Correct.
That I have reached.
Right. So you can't tell me how to be 50 when you're 20. You don't have the life experience to get to where I got yet. You have to do some of your own things to learn something. So when a lot of people tell you that, you chip the block, if I can say it like that.
Chip off the old block.
Right. So now the things that old people said to you, mature people, I don't want to say old people, mature people said to you, you use it now, but you didn't use it when you was younger. That makes sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
So now the things that your mother or an uncle or older person that came up with you and they said, this is going to happen, this, that, and that, when you was young, like, I don't want to hear that, get out of here, I don't want to hear that nonsense. But now you look at it like this. Now you're the same person that was that age. It's like you telling somebody, don't do this, that, and that, because I know. And they're like this, man, get out of here, I don't want to hear that.
And then is that as the price? Like I see how they get into that.
Right.
They get into that because of the pressure that they think that's given to them. No, real rap. They're that way because they feel like they got the pressure. Man, I got to pay these bills. I got to do this. You know what I'm saying? And they get to a certain age and they're not really. They're not seeing the brighter side. So.
The brighter side?
Not having a struggle. Like
everybody has struggle. Why
right.
I say everybody has struggle because if you don't struggle, how are you gonna know it when you get there?
How you gonna know when you get there? Right. But what I'm saying, I'm basing it off like when I'm speaking on it, it's like these gentlemen, these men. This is the pressures I'm saying like as a whole, generally. I mean, not me individually, not you individually, but as a whole, men really does feel pressure. They feel pressure of having to protect the household. They do feel pressure of having to provide for their household, especially as being administered to them at such a young age. They don't really like. You don't really be like we say, oh, I'm pressured because of this, but we got a lot of unspoken things that we feel like is on our shoulders that we do not.
We go out the door. It's pressure.
Right.
We go out the door. So if you didn't have the household, you still have to be a man no matter what. So you can't really be like, all right, well, a woman making me be a man.
No.
You got to be a man. So because where you going to be at and can't take care of yourself?
See that? Who you going to be if you can't take care of yourself? So now, with that, we're going to come back and talk about how we can try to find a way to do healing about these stigmas, because everything that I speak on are actually really stigmas. You know, they're stigmas because people actually truly believe that it's a pressure on us because of some. You only can have your emotion done in a certain way. You have to protect. You have to provide, and each culture teaches it differently. So we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about how we can get that healing, especially for the melanated individuals. So kick back. We back, Rilla Talk. P. Rilla sitting here with Bree. Look, man, we had a good conversation about masculinity and cultural differences, social differences, and things like that. About weight on the shoulder and all that. But so we said, figure it out. How do we get the healing, and how do we start the healing? So, and with that is like, how do you redefine manhood without shame? Like, how do we do that? How do we redefine manhood without shame? Like, for me, I literally have no problem saying I have a caseworker, a counselor, and a psychiatrist. But
that was wild. You came from left field on that one. I think you might have held some of that on.
But at the end of the day, these stigmas that's considered pressures to most, I don't see them as pressures, but these stigmas, they really do help me get through them. Damn, I got something in my book. But they really help me get through that and heal me to get away from what the stigmas will be considered as pressures and stuff like that. And I know people, especially people of like olive shades, color, they scared to. No, I mean, I'm not saying they're not scared, but they hold it within to.
No, they're scared.
All right, then they scared to express themselves genuinely.
Most of us.
And all I'm here to say to you is, it's okay to talk to someone about the things you need to get that world off your shoulders. Mama, auntie, cousins, doesn't matter. Doctors, you ain't crazy for it.
Some people gotta watch talking. Some people use that for their information to use it against you, but
it is what it is.
Yeah, but you gotta watch it.
Because if you go in my files, you're gonna find it. So
everybody don't got rights to your files, but okay.
I know what I'm saying. But I mean, how do you think that? How do you think we should? We could heal from this.
One is, I believe that you got to be honest with yourself. That's first.
First step is honesty.
First thing, you got to be honest with yourself. You can't fool a man in the mirror. Okay, what you're going through, you gotta, and then sometimes it might sound cliche to say this. You gotta have a little bit of faith.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta have a little bit of faith because you can't do everything by yourself. You gotta have some type of faith somewhere, and you gotta have a good support system. Whether it's a family, whether it's some friends. I'm talking about real friends.
That is very important. Yeah,
I'm saying it gotta be and as men, we don't have enough other men that we can say, all right, well, this is my man. Like, I'm going through something. I'm like, that he ain't gonna run and tell somebody else. Let me tell you what Rilla said to me. He on some BS and this, that, no. Like, we gotta be men to other men, and we gotta be friends, be actual friends, and not just associates. Because that's why I said you can't tell everybody everything. Because some people want to hear your story just so they can go ahead and tell your story.
Use it for game, or
right?
You'll tell your story and make it theirs.
You'll be table talk at dinner. You be table talk. Mm. Let me tell you what happened with this. Let me tell you what happened with that. So you gotta realize who your support staff is. or who, whether it's a doctor, whether it's this, that, like what. And I start coming out with a team of people. Mm-hmm. Like I have a team. Clear Look is not just a work thing, it's a family environment. Like everybody to talk to, everybody that we do something with. So even, I told you a couple times, I said, bro, all you gotta do is pick up the phone and call me.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. Yeah. I don't want to just call you and say, okay, or you call me, or I call you and say, I need to do this podcast. I want to do that. If you call me and say, yo, bro, I'm going through a little something. The minute that you hang the phone up and tell me what you was going through, this, that, and other, I forgot about it because it ain't nobody else's business.
It's nobody else's business.
So that's the type of person I am. I done did a lot of things, and me, this is what helps me. When I help other people, and I'm not looking for nothing in return. You know, like some people do things and they look for things in return, like a swap. So if I'm generally helping you to get out of a situation or helping you to better yourself, it's 3 things how men happen. It's either I'm making you better, you making me better, or we making each other better. If none of them 3 things is happening, I don't need to be around you.
Yeah. I use this statement, listen, if you are not conducive to the progressions of my life, I don't need you around me.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Like real rap. Like
if you raise somebody from out your life and you get good sleep, did you need that person?
Nah.
There you go.
That's why I am who I am, because I just.
And this is what I want men to learn at WB. Be content with yourself before you start being content with other people.
Ha!
If that makes sense.
Be content with, yeah, because you trying to be, you so content with what he got going, you trying to turn yourself into him, thinking that it's a style that you ended up adapting, but it's never nothing that you wanted to do or wanted to be at all. So, guess what? Do you. So,
but that's what people don't do them. They don't do them. That's hard to do first now these days. They're capping and doing this, but, you know.
So, there we have it. I'm getting ready to come back up and tell y'all my final wrap up. Bree, let them know who you are, your Instagrams, how to reach you, how to get out to you.
All right. I'm Bree, one half of How Real Is He with Ab and Bree. You're on YouTube, you can look it up, and please like, subscribe, and share, comment if there's anything on it that you don't like, that you like. We have Clear Look that we just started. It's on IG right now. It's Clear Look _1117, and we working. So I'm telling you, we working. Just go to these sites, and I'll respond to any comment or anything you see if you put anything out there.
So there you have it. Look, man, it's been a pleasure to have you.
One more thing. One more thing. We got casting calls coming on the 9th and the 8th of May. The 8th and 9th of May. Mm-hmm. The time will be posted on the IG page, and this is for the mini-series.
Game Tight? Is it Game Tight?
Game Tight.
Bro, that is something you gotta come for. Stay tuned. But it's been a blessing, and I know this ain't gonna be the first time we have him up here. So
okay, well, thank you.
Get used to him. Get used to him.
All right. Thank you.
Blessings. But be right back to y'all. Tell y'all what my final wrap up is. Being a man isn't about hiding pain. It's about owning your story. It's about building something better for the next generation. So if nobody told you today, be safe, be real, and most of all, be you.